Gabriel Ellison fended off a hungry field of drivers to take victory last time out in Kansas. Tonight, the Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series takes to what will act as the first short track on the season. I am Emerson R. and my colleague Jonathan Byer is alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening. We're excited to be bringing you live coverage from the virtual Milwaukee Mile and virtual West Dallas, Wisconsin, here on VIRacing.com motorsport simulations platform. And Jonathan, this is a flat 1 mile track that's set up to test drivers' skill and discipline. That's up tonight. It certainly did last night, and where track position was at a premium and tire life was ever so important.
Well, thanks for having me tonight, Emerson. I'm excited to be here. We had a great race last night. We saw a good mix of strategy, aggression, people playing different strategies to get stage points, which we've already seen be very important even early on in the point standings this season. So for our first short track for these Glytch Series truck drivers tonight, I think we're in store for a pretty good one.
Absolutely. And, you think about how the point standing is. I don't have a graphic ready per se this week, but certainly the standings have been in Balliet's favor after that dominant performance at Sonoma. He holds that point lead 6 points over Westwood, Ryan Johnson, Herman, and Schaefer, the top 5. Then Dean Brummett, our 2-time winner, down at JBR, right, 6th there in driver points, but he's locked into the playoffs. Gabriel Ellison locks in, and he's 17th in points coming into tonight. So 3 drivers locked in on now week 5 in the season. Plenty of time for drivers to work their way into the playoffs, and that time starts with the drivers setting time out on the racetrack as we speak. And how about it? Here we got driver of the number 13 machine. This is Branson McCannon, I believe, subbing in then in that 13 machine and getting up to speed here into turns 3 and 4 on his qualifying lap.
Yep, he is the brand new JBR driver. Just announced earlier today he's replacing Justin Michael full-time in the number 13 car. He had driven the 11 car independently for the start of this season. He became available and we needed a driver, so he is filling that seat, and that is as of today. So this is his first laps in that truck.
It's unfortunate to see Justin go, but I'm sure Branson will do a fine job then filling in for that ride. Gabriel Ellison, last week's winner, out there on the track, sat 11th quickest, and it's time to see where Ellison is going to place that number 27 machine. Ellison looks like in that 27 he will go. That first lap, or it looks like he's staying in 11th, and we have 21 times down on the board. So looks like Simon Scoring is having their fair share of troubles in qualifying, but that's okay. Top of the charts, it is Kyle Vincent Gilbert, Michael Sturgill there in the 70 truck, a newcomer to the series, and Valiette sat third. That is the top three. Looks like we have Kyle Westwood out there in the number 48. Like maybe he's going to be practicing pit entry. And Politis is out there. Let's catch up Ryan Johnson on a timed lap. Here we go.
Looks like 24 of our 31 trucks have taken a time so far, so there's just a couple guys left. Probably some of these guys that are waiting a little bit longer in the session. Track temp on these short tracks is a really key thing when it comes to grip. So, you know, if the wind is picked up a little bit, the track temp will actually cool a couple degrees over the course of the 10-minute qualifying session. So some guys opt to wait a few minutes before they head out.
Certainly. Let's see if we can get some times to appear up on top. Looks like we're not even getting times at all. Well, that's fantastic. That's okay. So Ryan Johnson, he'll put it 8th quickest there in that 38 machine. Looks like Reese Schaefer in the 17 machine out of Tank Racing, still looking for his first win on the season. Out there now with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. 3 minutes 35. Schaefer in the 17 machine, using all that track on exit.
Yeah, but qualifying on these short tracks is really, really difficult because it's such a rhythm-based thing. You know, when you get into the race and you start clicking off these laps, you know, once you get in a rhythm, you pick up speed, but asking somebody to run a hot lap in just 2 laps and not in rhythm is a tall task.
Schaefer, he'll put it up 7th quickest, and that'll do it. And you're right, you know, hot lapping here versus race laps. I've been hearing a lot. Drivers will be driving 2 completely different styles in qualifying and race. And you see Michael York pushing hard, nearly making contact with the wall on his timed lap. And, well, that'll do it for Michael York. Here comes Cole Martin in the 51 machine, trying to get himself a smooth start to his lap. Sideways up off the corner, trying to give it all gas as he comes across the start-finish line. Oh, that was 1 lap complete. Cole Martin up to 4th.
Pretty good lap from Cole Martin right there to fire off. It looks like he's got a little bit more in the tank here on the 2nd lap. 2nd lap is typically, if you don't make a mistake, just a little bit quicker because you have a little bit more heat in the tires going in. But the key is just not making a mistake.
Ooh, in 2nd gear there, Martin bobbles, maybe trying to get a little extra pace in the center of the corner. He's going to pay for it there on the exit. And Cole will stay then 4th quickest. And I don't see anyone else taking to the track then, JB. With 2 minutes left, we do have an opportunity to meet the team, maybe reintroduce the teams to some. And we'll go ahead and we'll take that moment here in just a couple moments, actually, as we bring it up. But qualifying pretty much complete. I believe everyone has taken their time then in the qualifying session. So here we go. Let's get to it to meet the teams for the 5th season of Speed Racing Network. Here we go. It's 777 Motorsports. Jay McDonald, Kyle Westwood. Westwood has brought a lot of pace this season, and McDonald bringing the experience. Aeons Motorsports, Gabriel Ellison, that winner from last week at Kansas, has a good group of men behind him. Flaming Karma Racing has had a lot of pace this season. Gerald Poole, Kyle Vincent Gilbert, drivers steadily inside the top 10. Gear Up Motorsports, this is a group of drivers we've seen time and time again. Timothy Latham leads the charge there. How about Jonathan Byer Racing? JB, this is your squad. You got a good group here. Dean Brummett, the 2-time winner out of this group, really bringing this team to some glory. Pilot, we have Ryan Johnson, who led a lot of laps last week at Kansas. Hosler, Politis, McAvoy, great guys behind him as well. Tank Racing, Balliet did his job at Sonoma. But Schaefer, Zimmerman, Markle running this season. Cunningham made his first start last season, finishing 2nd. Some of our independent part-time drivers. Actually, Branson McCannon just joined JBR, so I guess that would be the update then from Michael there. But that is your Glytch Truck Series Season 5 teams. JB, and got any notes that you want to add to that?
Well, a couple notes from the entry list that's a little bit different this week. So Michael Sturgill's a newcomer. He's listed as the 70 truck. He's actually going to be driving the 90 truck. He's independent full-time, so you'll see him every week from here on forward. Logan Truitt, a JBR Xfinity driver, is subbing for Bradley Brandon in the number 35 truck tonight, so you'll see him there. Dean Brummett is back in the 31, even though iRacing says he's in the 18. And then, like you said there at the end, Branson McCannon is joining JBR, so he will be slotting from his number 11 into the number 13.
Well, there we go. And it's time to get through our starting lineup for tonight's 130 lapper here from the Milwaukee Mile. Let's get right to it. I'll take the first 10. JB, Kyle Vincent Gilbert, KVG out there on pole. Michael Sturgill will start there from the second position in that 70 machine. Joshua Balliet brings a lot of pace. 8 1000s off, 4 1000s off for Sturgill, but 8 1000s off the pole time for the 7 out of Tank Racing. Cole Martin will start fourth. There 3 100ths off of that pole time in that 51 machine. Tyler Markle, Brian McAvoy, the next two there, 5th and 6th. Dean Brummett, Reese Shaver, a couple good guys out in row 4. Devin Zimmerman, Ryan Johnson will round out the top 10, JB.
Starting in the next row, 11th and 12th, we got 2 SRN veterans with Brad Herman and Austin Purnell. Then we got Lane Hostler and Gabriel Ellison, 13th and 14th. 15th is Connor Cunningham, who has recently slid into a full-time spot there at Tank Racing. This is his second race of the season. Lane Doyle will start alongside of him in 16th. Kyle Westwood in 17th. Logan Truitt, our sub for Bradley this week, in 18th. The new JBR driver, Branson McCannon, in 19th. And Jordan Sailors rounds out the top 20.
Right out the rest of the grid there, you have Craig Schroeder in the 10 machine, Doc Holliday in the 9, making up row number 11. Mark Morton was the point leader after Daytona. Now trying to find some pace there, starts 23rd in the 8 machine. Michael York in the 84 starts 24th. Politis and Anderson make up row 13. Gerald Poole, Byron McDonald, and Albert Hewins makes up our 29 driver grid before tonight's 130 lapper here at the Milwaukee Mile. And now tonight, JB, we do have our stage break scheduled for lap number 35 tonight. Last night, the Fiverr Truck Series had 3 sets of tires sitting in the pits for him. Are we looking at the same strategy spots tonight?
Yes, everything except for the lap count should be exactly the same tonight. Obviously, the different lap count will have a different stage break, but yes, it'll be pretty much the same strategy. You'll want to save a set of tires for possibly a late race caution, but you definitely don't want to use them up all early. So we'll see some interesting strategy. They can go about 50 laps on fuel, we're estimating, so we'll see how it plays out.
It certainly was a very chaotic race last night in the Fiverr Truck Series that led to a very fun finish, and Dalton McKenna getting that win. But it's Kyle Vincent Gilbert who now takes control of the field, and racing commences from Milwaukee. A very clean opening lap from the front of the field. It is now the 70th Sturgill sat 2nd, Balliet 3rd, Cole Martin 4th, and Tyler Markle in 5th. This is all sitting behind the Flaming Karma machine number 58 of Kyle Vincent Gilbert, leading laps here at Milwaukee.
And Kyle is a newcomer to SRN this season. This is his first year driving, but has been very impressive so far in his young tenure. He's got that thing out front. Clean air is important here, even though it's not one of the bigger tracks where you kind of think everything's aero dependent. Those front tires just stay cooler and gripped up better if there's nobody disturbing the air in front of you.
Here's a battle here. Dean Brummett, Tyler Markle going at it. This is for the final spot. I'm sorry, this is for 4th. Dean Brummett in that 31 machine. He'll be scored as the 18 tonight, but in that 31 machine, trying to clear the 42 up off the corner, and he'll slot in front of that 42 machine.
That's a good looking number 31 with the new sponsor Quantum Fuel Systems on board. It's always cool to see some of these paint schemes and sponsors that support these drivers in Speed Racing Network, and that's one of the cool ones there.
Absolutely. How about a couple more? Tank and Gear Up. Devin Zimmerman, Brad Herman going at it. This for the final spot in the top 10. Zimmerman trying to hold station around the outside. Herman staying firm down on the inside in that 85 machine. Again, passing becomes very hard here at the Milwaukee Mile. This one groove racetrack, right? So all of this overtaking gets done here on the restarts, makes track position at a premium, like I said in the intro. We saw in unless you have a severe difference in tire life, JB, it is really hard to set up and make those overtakes here. If you can defend well, you're going to be set up pretty well here at Milwaukee.
Yeah, we saw it last night on the first run, the first opening 40 laps before the stage break. It was clean and green, but we did see a lot of comers and goers because this is one of those tracks where if you just run the tires really hard early, you'll pay the price in about 10 to 15 laps. And you'll just go backwards. You'll kind of get stuck on the outside lane, and you just do not have the grip to secure yourself back in the bottom and get back in line. So the train will just keep going around you. So before we get to the stage break, if things start out green like they did last night, pay attention to that top 10 and kind of see where people go, because that'll give you a good idea how their truck is on the long run. And typically at tracks like Milwaukee and New Hampshire and Gateway, those kind of mile or a little bit longer, flatter tracks, it's the long run speed that ends up coming into fruition at the end.
Absolutely. That's some brilliant analysis there, JB, especially with that run we had last night. A little bit of an extended race last night due to, well, we'll just call some technical difficulties. Tonight's race actually 20 laps shorter than what the Fiverr guys were running last night. But it was a great show last night. We got long green flag runs, and we got a little bit of intense racing action towards the end. We got that short track feel, right? We got, drivers really sending it into corners, maybe some tempers flaring. I know, unfortunately, that meant more work for you last night. But tonight, these Glytch truck boys, this has been some great racing all season, very clean racing. I'm expecting a much better product tonight.
Well, and I got to give a shout out to the Fiverr guys last night. We were dealing with some technical difficulties, but they were patient with us. They adapted really well. They agreed to just run the longer distance that we had set. And it turned out to be an entertaining race. But at short tracks, that's when bumpers are going to be put to bumpers, and doors are going to meet other drivers' doors. And so things are going to happen naturally. It's just part of it. Did mean for a little extended night last night, but that's okay. It's just part of it. But I do expect this race to just be a little bit more professional as far as the racecraft goes. But don't think that's going to be a step down on the aggression level, because these guys still drive on the edge every single lap.
Absolutely. These drivers, they understand how to run this track for the most part. While it's not a staple on the NASCAR calendar, it is making its return in real life NASCAR national competition. The Milwaukee Mile does resemble the New Hampshire Motor Speedway fairly well, the Magic Mile up in Loudon, New Hampshire, and I think that's a lot of the drivers have compared it to tonight. You also hear comparisons to Phoenix, and well, what I'm noticing here, Kyle Vincent Gilbert is feeling the pressure of Michael Sturgill as Gilbert went wide there off of turn 2. He's not keeping that 58 planted on that darkened groove down on the inside, and he may be paying the price for it early.
Yeah, you're seeing, either Kyle's just trying to keep a decent pace here and not burn his stuff up and get too far ahead. But like you said, you're just not seeing him be able to stick the truck on those rumble strips there, those yellow markers on the inside. There's actually a little bit of grip on those because there's a little painted line right there. And if you can get the tires on it just right, it helps the truck turn, but you have to get the truck down there. And I've been looking a little further back in the field, especially with the 35 truck. Logan Truitt is actually using part of the apron to help that truck turn. So there's a lot of different ways to get around these corners, a lot of different ways to find grip. But with that extended apron in 1 and 2, there's more room, more track to use.
Let's have a moment there finding Logan Truitt. Truitt, of course, running the 35, scored as the 31 tonight, but there's Logan Truitt. And we were just watching him earlier in that battle with Zimmerman. Zimmerman now has fallen back to that 16th position, but Truitt up now 3 spots from where he started as a result. And you're right, clipping that curbing there on the inside. You think of it, it is there, similar to road course curbing. You think of it as a road course, right? Think of a long sweeping corner on a road course where if, you get the entry right, you can get the vehicle settled there on the curbing. And these stock cars, they like curbing. Maybe, open wheel vehicles, if you think of IndyCar that's raced here at Milwaukee, they're not too much of a fan of that curbing. The stock cars, they'll eat it up.
Exactly, because they sit a little bit higher and you can get away with it. But the one other advantage to using, a lane lower if it's available is the ability to get no air on the front of the trucks. And so, if you can turn underneath somebody and just get a little bit of clean air, it helps you with overall downforce. And so, if you give anybody in a stock car room to the left that they can use, they're probably going to use it. So, the grass comes up right to the edge here in 3 and 4, so it's definitely not recommended there because, cars don't steer well in the grass. But in 1 and 2, it's definitely an option.
How about this? Getting hot and heavy for the top spot. Sturgill has that run. He files back in line, but he is there. He is knocking on the tailgate of that 58 machine.
He's exercising some patience there. He definitely could have forced the issue, but he's like, hey, we're 15 laps into a 130-lap race. I've shown a little bit more pace. I've run him down. He's going to take his time here. And not... No, wow, the 58 got really loose on entry there. And one piece of information that people don't know of that is why he's getting so loose. He probably has that brake bias dialed pretty heavy into the rear, so he's just not going to have as much security on entry. I think that's what he's battling right now. So he might adjust that forward as the run goes, but that's going to allow the 90 or the 70, as the ticker says, to get the lead here in this first SRN start.
Scored as the 70, driving to 90 tonight, Michael Sturgill. Now to the lead for his first time in Speed Racing Network competition. We'll come off of turn 4 and will lead his first lap today. And for Kyle Vincent Gilbert, if you're turning right in this long of a left-hand corner, it is probably not going to go all that well for you. This is not a dirt track. Not going to feel the 7 truck here.
And that's going to heat up the tires a lot very quickly. And tires, they're not happy when they're hot. So you just need to spend a couple laps here to just stay nice and easy in the groove. Maybe back it up a little further. Maybe let this 7 go. Cool the tires back off. Settle back into a groove. Get in a position where he doesn't start losing too much. And starts losing the stage points. But he is struggling with the handling on that machine now.
The good news for KVG, as Balliet drives it a little deep into the center of the corner, but Kyle Vincent Gilbert way up the track, up 2 grooves. He'll lose that second spot to Balliet, and now it is Dean Brummett of the next in line to feast on the struggles of Kyle Vincent Gilbert. The good news for Kyle is the stage break is coming on lap 35, but is that too far out as we are only halfway then to stage number 1?
Yeah, and like I said, a few minutes ago, now is that time where you start to see the difference of who has long run pace and who has short run pace, because this is when the tires start to swing another direction. We've seen the 70 or 90 truck get off to a decent start, but then pick up speed as the run goes comparative to everybody else. I think you could say the 7, same about the 7, and then Dean Brummett behind him. They're just having a less drastic fall off as compared to the number 58 or the number 42 by looking at the timing and scoring. And less drastic fall off is going to be faster over the course of more laps. So now that time period where you're starting to see that difference.
We're right on board with Dean, who is trying to track down the 58 then a Kyle Vincent Gilbert, and Dean is really legging it out into these corners. A little higher than I think he'd like to be at the center of the corner, but I think everyone is struggling with a lot of understeer in these trucks, and Dean just one of them, trying to be one of the best to handle that understeer.
And that's what it looks like
downshift
on this onboard. Yeah, and that could be causing, you see him using the apron right there. We talked about that. But when, using downshifting will cause understeer because you're spinning the tires a lot quicker. Your RPMs are going to go a lot higher. But you also see him combating that with a lower entry into the corner. The truck's just going to be more stable the lower you drive it in, rather than a big wide arc. So, he looks like everybody's fighting the same things. It's interesting to see the shifting this late in the run, because it has gone green so far. You kind of would want to protect the tires a little bit better, but we'll see how that progresses. That's the first time I've seen somebody shift at the Milwaukee Mile this week, so it's an interesting play.
Yeah, and this is out of your stable. I know your guys, they've had a chance to feel out the truck and maybe lean on some of the guys from last night as well. So intriguing to see that come to play today. I wonder if that'll come to fruition throughout the field, and if the fast guys are willing to try it. But Dean, a 2-time winner on the season, right? He's locked into the playoffs. He has plenty of room to experiment. He knows he's had a stage caution coming up. I'm all for Dean trying out whatever he can do to make that 31 truck faster.
Yeah, and like you said, you have that guaranteed caution. So if you burn him up really bad right now, you know, he's still in a position where if he drops a few more spots, he's still going to get stage points. So it's not going to be as big of a burden as, okay, let me try this later in the race, but if it doesn't work out later in the race and then you don't get a caution to have a chance to rebound, that's really going to hurt. Because every point matters. Even though he wins and he's in the playoffs, he wants as many bonus points as possible.
Absolutely.
So leading laps, you know, coming home with no incident points and things like that all lead to bonus points as well as stage points. And that makes a difference when we get to playoff time for sure.
Check this out, Balliet. He has taken a bite out of Sturgill's gap. That was 0.8 of a second a couple laps ago. It is now half.
I've been watching the timing and scoring screen here, and Balliet's been about 1/10 to 1/10.5 quicker than Sturgill the last 3 laps. So Sturgill kind of legged out a little bit on him, but maybe spent up a little bit too much tire, and Balliet's just running really, really consistent lap times, and that's helping him catch him right now. Catching him and passing him, however, are two very different things.
Oh, absolutely. At the Milwaukee Mile, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to set this one up in a couple laps time, or I'm sorry, set this one up with a couple laps in advance if he's gonna get a proper overtake done. But as things tighten up front, it's actually the 0.2 of a second and dropping. Things are also tight between Tyler Markle and Ryan Johnson for the final spot in the top 5.
Guys are starting to think about, you know, we got less than 10 laps until the stage break. Every position here in the top 10 is a bonus point. You know, we just got done saying how important those bonus points are, so they're going to try a little bit harder to get everything they can here before the stage break.
And Tyler Markle also now closing up to the rear end of the 31 of Dean Brumman. This is quickly becoming a 3 truck, and if they catch Kyle Vincent Gilbert, a 4 truck battle, and really tight up here. We'll switch back for a moment. Balliet now stalking the rear end of that 70 truck.
And I don't believe lap traffic will become an issue. They have about the length of an entire straightaway before they catch the back of the field. So I think it's going to be these two battling it out for the next few laps. You see how deep Balliet's able to get that truck in the corner. It doesn't look like he's fighting the same loose issues that a lot of other guys are fighting, because he's able to really charge the car.
146 miles an hour there at the end of the straightaway. Staring at Michael Sturgill, Schritt's username, and gets the run up off the corner. They're going to be side by side for the race lead.
Balliet was able to get the power down a little bit earlier than Sturgill, and that's just all the difference on these short tracks. Sturgill looks like he's just going to give him plenty of room here. Lots of racing left. Sturgill's a little bit loose on the outside, running out of track quickly. But they're both going to make it safely off of 2 and continue battling.
Not done yet. Sturgill able to get that run off the corner. Balliet, though, so aggressive on entry. Able to clear the 70 truck easy on the corner entry. And if he can maximize that exit, that might be it. They're not done yet, though. Sturgill is right there.
You just see how well Balliet's able to get into the corner. Everybody else is kind of tiptoeing in there, battling that understeer on entry. But he's able to charge it. You just see that difference. As soon as he charges it and legs out a little bit, that distance stays. He's about equal to the second place truck everywhere else, but he's just able to get a little bit more on entry. He's actually the only truck currently still running in the 31-second bracket. So I think part of it's just he did the best job of anybody saving a little bit on those tires.
There you go. And Balliet prioritizing the long run. Kyle Vincent Gilbert, unfortunately, wants this run to end ASAP. Ryan Johnson, by the way, who was fighting Tyler Markle for 5th, now to the inside of Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Ryan Johnson to 3rd. He was on his side last time out in Kansas, ended his race prematurely. Contact there off of turn 2, and Johnson trying to fend off the 58.
Ryan Johnson's picking him up and putting him down. He's making pretty quick work of these guys. He got by Markle quickly. He got by Brummett quickly. And now he dispenses of the 58. So that is 3 extra bonus points that he's getting accredited if he is able to hold that position by the time the stage caution comes out.
Now Dean able to drive it down to the inside of the 58, make easy work of KVG. Kyle Gilbert tries to get on that rumble strip, finds a lack thereof of grip on that 58 machine, and he'll have to slot in behind the 31. McAvoy now up to 6th on Markle. Schaefer wants a piece of the 42. And the battle for 10th.
Really good battle back here for the last couple stage points here with Cole Martin, Brad Herman, And I can't tell who that next truck is. Lane Hostler, it looks like. So,
Yep.
this, every point matters. We talk about it, and we're probably going to say it at least 10 more times in this broadcast. But we'll see how hard these guys fight it out. We only got 3 laps left until the stage.
Martin sideways, using every bit of track there on the exit. Herman now gets to the inside, and this is important here. Can Martin hold on to that last spot? How about 3 wide?
3 wide in the center of the corner is really tough on this narrow track. Herman's going to come out the best, it looks like, be able to split through them both and head on his merry way. And so we're going to have a battle now for the 10th spot.
2 laps to go till the conclusion of stage number 1, and Martin and Hostler are going to go at it.
Just for the single point that 10th place pays here, but it matters. So we're going to see how far they drive. 61 drove it really deep into that corner, but was able to make it stick.
Hostler clears Martin, and with 1 lap to go into stage, we'll now just have to try to fend off that 51 machine. The closest battle inside the top 10 is that battle for 10th. Take a look at Kyle Vincent Gilbert right now trying to hold on to that 5th spot. He slides it off of turn number 2, and this guy, Joshua Balliet, well, he has legged it out on Michael Sturgill. 1 3/4 second. He'll come across the line, and Joshua Balliet will win stage number 1 at Milwaukee.
Really impressive run there by Joshua to open up the race. And you talked about earlier that, these corners are a lot like road racing corners, and well, this guy dominated the road race a couple weeks ago at Sonoma, so I don't think we're really surprised that has taken it to it pretty quick this race.
He led 51 of the 55 laps at Sonoma. I think it was oh goodness, somebody who led laps early at that one.
Well, 51 to 55 is a pretty impressive run. So he knows a thing or two about getting around these long, sweeping, flat corners. And this track just probably suits his driving style. So everybody's going to come down now and probably want those much needed tires that they're probably begging for maybe 20 laps ago.
Absolutely. And so we will patiently await the field of 29 Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series vehicles to head down to the service of their pit crews. Bobby Anderson, let's see. Oh, Bobby Anderson lost a lap. Right.
Yep, lone truck 1 lap down, so he'll get back on the lead lap this time, and then everybody will be back on the lead lap starting the next part of the race.
Here we go. And 28 of the 29 entrants will work their way down to pit lane.
This is a very, very, very tight pit road. It's narrow. It's hard to see. So overshooting your pit box is really, really easy, but it looks like everybody's gotten in safely so far.
Logan Truitt.
Pit road already.
He missed the box. Oh, man.
That had to be what happened.
There's no pit box time.
Yeah, he, like I said, it's narrow. You can't see. It's easy to overshoot.
So Balliet wins the race off pit road over Sturgill and Ryan Johnson. And as he has completed his pit service, we are no longer apt to be bothering said driver. So we'll go ahead and bring on up driver of the number 7 machine, Joshua Balliet, our stage 1 winner here at the Milwaukee Mile. And Mal, it was not the qualifying you had hoped for, but you put together the long run to get through both Kyle Vincent Gilbert and Michael Sturgill to take that stage victory. Tell us about it.
Yeah, just they were really pushing. They were almost running quality times, and I would just stayed disciplined, ran the pace I knew that it would take to be good on the long run, and eventually caught them.
Now, with the clean air and being that it is so hard to overtake here, how aggressive will you be at trying to hold on to the lead, or will you put more, I guess, value in tire life than track position?
Well, we're going to be going here for probably close to 50 laps on a run, so I'm going to prioritize making sure the tires are on it.
Well, there you are. Through 35 laps, you've seen already the fast guys and maybe the guys that are coming up behind that you don't really know about. You said pretty much a one stop to the end, then. I actually don't know what I'm gonna ask. JB, you got anything to ask Josh?
I guess the best thing to ask is, you can go 50 laps. You got to one stop it. Are you trying to split this in half? Is that kind of the idea, or do you want to try to be that first one on pit road to make sure you don't lose any time?
Since the runs are so long, you really just don't want to be early pitting and then make yourself disadvantaged for the whole remainder of the race because they're just so long for them to catch back up. So you really just want to go long.
Well, there it is, driver of the number 7, Joshua Balliet, our stage 1 winner here at the Milwaukee Mile. Congratulations on the stage victory, and best luck to you the rest of the race.
Thank you.
With 90 laps to go for this restart, our stage winner then, Joshua Balliet, will lead on this restart over Michael Sturgill, Ryan Johnson, Dean Brummett, Kyle Vincent, Gilbert Reese Schaefer, Ryan McAvoy, Tyler Markle, Brad Herman, and Lane Hostler, then the top 10. All 29 trucks on the lead lap, JB. What are you thinking?
I think if it keeps up, we're going to see a long run here. We might even see some green flag pit stops, and we saw the chaos and the shuffle that caused yesterday. So here we go. I'm ready for it.
The iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane. Balliet leads us back to green. Another clean start for the Glytch Truck Series field, and it's Balliet trying to fend off Michael Sturgill here out in front of the field. It is all packed up behind, though. This is where the Hornet's Nest is. You have Herman and Osler, Martin, and last week's winner, Gabriel Ellison, in this one.
This is a tightly contested pack back here, and I think what's keeping this all jumbled is some guys want to do what Balliet said and leg this out, run long, protect the tires, not try to run on the edge every lap. Some guys are like, all I know how to do is run on the edge. And so because of that different strategy, it kind of creates all these log jams. But on a track like this also, every time you're side by side with somebody, you give up time to the truck behind you, so just let the next guy catch. That's kind of why you see the freight train effect a lot.
Once again, brilliant analysis there, JB. You're absolutely right. These drivers, they need to kind of weigh, the pros and cons to battling for each position. The only thing is, you don't have time to sit there and write out a pros and cons list. You have to be thinking that in real time.
Well, that's what you have teammates for, right? We talk about it all the time. What makes Speed Racing Network unique is the team aspect we have, and because you were part of Tank Racing and still communicate with those guys a lot, and the fact that we use our teammates a lot to help bounce ideas of strategy off each other and figure out how we want to do things, and they can communicate and have dialogue with all their teammates during the race. So that's very important, and that's probably what a lot of teams are talking about right now is how they want to attack this.
Absolutely. I think it's pretty much a settled one-stop race to the end, right? But do you want to pit early? Do you want to pit late? And how aggressive are you early? How much tire life do you have by the time you get to your pit stop is all questions all these guys are going to be thinking about. And they got to be thinking about in short order. They had that restart to think about it. Gabriel Ellison then now trying to find his way past the 61 of Hostler. Clears by the 61. Hostler sits in line. And it's tied up front. Ryan Johnson all over the tailgate of Sturgill.
Everybody's being pretty nice to each other right now. Still a lot of racing left, just under 90 laps. So that's a lot of time, a lot of laps, a lot of corners, a lot of chances to get them back. So you're not going to see that short track beating and banging yet, but we'll get there eventually. But you brought up the thing about the pit strategy, the pitting early, pitting late. We watch the races every weekend, and you always want to be that first guy on pit road because you don't want to give up time to guys on fresh tires. However, on a track like Milwaukee, the tire fall off happens so drastically in the 10 to 15 lap range that you don't give up maybe as much time that way, but if you save, if you have 6 lap fresher tires and you didn't pit at the same time as the person in front of you, can run them back down. So, and that's kind of what Balliet was alluding to when we talked to him. So if we continue this green field that this race has so far, it'll be interesting to see how each team and each driver plays out their pit strategy. They only have to make one more stop, but when they make that stop is what's gonna be the flyer.
You know, the thing to think about is, for that stage, Balliet, he was nearly a second back of Sturgill, chased him down, and then legged him nearly 2 seconds after that on the same aged tires, and he saved tire. If you don't think tires are important, that was the same age tire in 2 different driving styles. Imagine that, but you multiply it by, 5-6 lap fresher tires. I mean, I think life is going to be more of a premium than track position in that regard when it comes to the pit cycle, for sure.
And I just want to bring something up that my admin team just let me know. We are 48 laps now, working lap 49 into this race. Not a single incident point has been accumulated by any driver to this point, which is amazing that they've gone this far. Not going to jinx it or anything, but that just shows you the level of respect these guys have out here, how they're giving each other a lot of space, a lot of time this early, and we've run a very, very clean as you can run race so far.
I'm not going to lie, JB, that does not surprise me one bit. This is definitely the field of drivers that can do it. I think it's got a good, fast group of drivers with the right heads on each of these guys, and I think it's been proven in the first 4 weeks of the season, and you're seeing it here, even in the back of the field, where, it's, a dog-eat-dog world back here. You see this lunge, I believe that Truett is going for on Doc Holliday, and even then, you get to the corner, right, and you're still, you're backing out of it if it's not your corner. You're setting it if you do have that chance. Everyone is making quick calculations and quick, thoughts in each of these battles.
Zimmerman dives it really deep in there in that corner, but makes it stick. But alluding to a driver like Logan here, you're a sub, you're a visitor, you run full time in the Xfinity series, and so you don't want to come in here and rough a full-time guy's race up, and that's kind of hard to talk yourself out of. So you have to be a little bit extra respectful as a visitor. So it's in the back of his mind. I'm sure he's doing a great job of it so far. Good job subbing, and that's something we're seeing more this year with the new rules about who can earn team points and things like that. We see a lot more substitute drivers than we have in the past, and so that opens the door up for guys who need to come into somebody else's series and still exercise a certain level of respect.
Absolutely. And the respect up front very much has been high. 4 very, very fast drivers all lined up here within 1 second of each other. Balliet, of course, the Sonoma winner. Sturgill, the newcomer to the series, who we are still learning a lot about. Ryan Johnson, of course, a proven driver in this in Speed Racing Network. Not a winner yet on the season, but Ryan Johnson has the pace to certainly change that around at some point. And Dean Brummett, a 2-time winner there in 4th. As you see, Johnson and Sturgill added. Johnson trying to clear of a 70. And he'll clear by, yep.
So the top 4 here, we have a newcomer and 3 other guys who have won a lot of SRN races in their careers. So Sturgill's putting the fight right to those SRN veterans early.
You're right. Each of those other 3 very much have their win totals to back up their running up here out in front. Sturgill looks like he's put on a great running in his first start. Of course, we'll see if this translates to other tracks, if this translates throughout the season. For Sturgill, a great run in the debut. Now 54 complete here from Milwaukee. Very hot and heavy here. This is
here in the middle of the pack.
Oh yeah,
and you see he's using that apron right there. That's how that 61 was able to get that truck pivoted and turned and actually get under the 51. He was able to get that left side tire just under that rumble strip. We'll see if he tries it down here, but he just it's hard to get that grips if your truck is sliding on corner entry, and so he had to give up that position on the 51. But as these tires wear, you're going to see more and more of those guys trying to find somewhere other than the right behind the truck in front of them to find grip.
Right, you can only stare at that, tailgate for so long before you say, I'm going to do something about that, right? We're racers, we have that mentality, right? But McAvoy to the inside of Tyler Markle, he'll get that 7th spot on the 42 machine, and to move McAvoy into 7th.
And that's you can't really do a slide job at this track, but that's probably the closest you're going to get to it right there. He charged the corner, got position on him, got his right rear quarter clear of his left front, and then there's just nothing the truck behind you can really do at that point, because as soon as he crosses over in front of you, takes the air off the nose, the truck gets really, really tight. It's hard to continue the momentum through the corner.
Through 57 at Milwaukee, it's Balliet over Ryan Johnson, Michael Sturgill, Dean Brummett, Kyle Vincent, Gilbert, Reese Schaefer, Brian McAvoy, Tyler Merkel, Gabriel Ellison, and Brad Herman. Our stage 1 winner now under pressure from Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson was one of those other drivers, JB, that I recognized had some long run pace with him. The 38 now, if he's able to get to that clean air around the 7 of Balliet, that might have some big dividends on this race. Johnson a little loose trying to get to the inside of the 7 machine, but he is there.
I think Ryan Johnson's thinking in his mind right now, the fast tracking by the 7, the more time I can spend with clearing air on my nose, the better those front tires are going to last. But he also doesn't want to shred up the tires trying to get by him either. So he's trying to tote this fight line. He's running straight up. He's been about a 10th quicker than the 7 truck the last handful of laps. So he might have a little bit more pace, but you just have to be super, super careful.
Right on board off that tailgate of the 7 machine. And the 38 of Johnson driving it in. Notice that Johnson has a pretty aggressive entry against Balliet, who we saw had a very aggressive entry through stage 1. We are now 20 laps removed from the restart, JB. And I mean, of course, you know, 2 guys, very, very talented drivers in the series, but very fast guys with a lot of pace, and demonstrated they pulled away from the rest of the field, already up 6/10 on Sturgill. And here comes Johnson to the inside.
Big move. If he can get it to stick, he might be able to stay side by side with him. Yep, looks like he's going to be able to keep it there. So it's going to come down to who can get through 3 and 4 a little bit better. It will be interesting to see if the 7's really going to push the issue here.
Balliet, he will contest the corner. Johnson, with the preferred line, wraps it beautifully. Balliet fights it back. He'll lose the spot off the corner, and Johnson clears to the race lead. Ryan Johnson leads at Milwaukee.
And if you just watch the front of that 38 truck, it just looks like it's cutting so much better through the middle of the corner than the 7, and that's ultimately what made the difference. You know, we rode on the 7's tailgate there for a few laps, and you can saw that they were pretty even on corner entry, but as soon as that 38 truck was able to pivot and get the nose planted down in the center of the corner, it just pulled right up to him. So that's what ended up equating to that pass, and we got Reese Schaefer back here doing some work on the 58.
Kyle Vincent Gilbert sideways up off the corner.
Great job holding on to that truck.
Oh, yeah.
With the weight transfer, that is not an easy task, and he is just holding on to it right now.
Holding on for dear life. That's an understatement. In that 58 machine, Schaefer makes easy work then. Up to 5th. We'll find our way back to this battle we can't keep our eyes on here. JB, this is Herman, Martin, Hostler. These guys, they've been battling all night.
Yep, they're just, I mean, you know, you find drivers that drive just like you, and teammates sometimes especially, and you just end up battling them for a majority of the race, and these 3 just haven't left each other's side so far. Everybody's pace seems to be holding up a little bit better than they did on that first run. I was just looking at the lap averages now that we're 25 laps in compared to the 25 lap average we started the race with, and times are about 3 to 4 tenths better, which means guys knew coming into this stage of the race that they would have to just save a little bit more tire, and everybody's done a good job of that. We're not seeing the same level of fall off, which makes me think guys are trying their best to split this last segment in half.
Absolutely. I think, you know, that first stage was a great learning experience for drivers who maybe have never set one lap here in a league race at Milwaukee. And it is McCannon getting very physical with Jordan Sailors into turn 1, and McCannon up to 15, not without using a little bit of the fender.
Yeah, he just, you know, used the good old short track door there to open up a little bit more space. Nothing egregious.
Nope.
That's just short track racing at its finest right there. You know, you use the front bumper to kind of get them moved up out of the groove, and then you kind of use the door to widen the groove, and then you just hope you get a better drive off so they don't get a chance to get back and return the favor.
And now Sailors looks like he's struggling for a grip here. He's got Mark Morton and Logan Truitt now knocking on the tailgate of the 39 machine. Quick jump back up as looks like things between this battle for 10th have calmed down for the moment. Ellison up ahead of Herman and Purnell trying to join the fight behind. And Mark Morton on Jordan Sailors. We're now really getting to, you know, some extended territory here, JB. We are looking at about 27 laps removed from the restart. We're about to hit to that lap 30, lap 35 mark where these guys haven't ran at race conditions yet after that lap 35 mark.
Yeah, so that'll be uncharted territory for these guys. These trucks, once they lose a certain amount of grip, they're just so hard to keep planted, and that's kind of why you see passing slowly start to fall off, unless somebody is just a lot more off the pace compared to you. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now. It's kind of that stage where, you know, everybody wants new tires, but they just don't want to come get them yet because they got to get in their fuel window. But that fuel window is going to be open in about another 12 laps, so we'll see if guys want to stop then. But they can go about 8 to 10 laps further than that. So we're really looking at kind of that 12-lap window from about lap 80 to 92-ish that I think pit road's going to be very, very, very busy.
Absolutely. Someone who's busy is that 58 of Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Swatting flies with that
We got a
steering
wreck
wheel.
in the back. The 35 and the 39 just got into each other, it looks like. Logan Truitt, Jordan Sailors.
And Jordan Sailors, we saw, was already in a free fall down the running order. In trouble in our first caution for incident, JB, and we are no longer an incident-free race.
Dang, we made it, what, 69, 70 laps without an incident? That's impressive. Looks like the 8 might have been involved here.
And Morton, a great drive to the center of the corner, nowhere to go, but into the rear end of the 39, and big time contact between Truitt and Sailors.
So in the 39 we knew was struggling. You could tell he was falling very, very fast, and it looks like he just backed up the corner. The 8 had a really good run, was rolling the center really well, got to his back bumper, gave him a tap, and with the 39 already be on edge, it's, you know, good luck catching it. And unfortunately he overcorrected, and that's what got Logan Truitt involved in that incident. Yeah, you see him bump but give him space, but the 39, with, you know, how loose that truck looked and how much he was struggling with the handling, it's a tall task to ask him to catch that. So you know, that's kind of one of those incidents we see as a result of the short track racing style, where you're just trying to move a guy up out of the groove. You're not trying to wreck him. But if your truck's not handling well, any disruption in your rhythm is not going to be ideal.
Fortunately, both those trucks come to a halt right there in front of our turn 2 camera.
It doesn't look like either truck was severely damaged there, because they're not carrying too much speed in the corner. So both will be able to continue, and both should be somewhat competitive. You know, we're not too worried about aerodynamics here, so I think they'll be all right, but we'll see.
Trip pulls away. It'll be Jordan Sailors losing a lap under his caution period. Ryan Johnson, your race leader. We'll take a moment to hear. Well, no, we are on the 1 to green, and Sailors does beat the safety car out. So
wow, that was about as close as you can get. It's
baby,
Lightning McQueen level moment coming off pit road right there. But he's gonna have to hustle it around to get back up to the back of the field before they drop the green. Ryan Johnson still in control of this one here. Looks like everybody got on and off pit road clean. I don't see anybody falling back due to penalty, so we'll reset them and try it again.
We will try it again then. From Ryan Johnson, Michael Sturgill, Joshua Balliet, Kyle Vincent Gilbert, Reese Schaefer, Brian McAvoy, Dean Brummett, Gabriel Ellis, and Tyler Markle, and Brad Herman, the top 10. Ryan Johnson in control of the restart.
And guys, we'll have to pit at least one more time. That caution came out before the fuel window was open, so we'll see how hard guys want to go right here, knowing the run's going to be a little bit shorter.
58 to the end as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in pit lane. Ryan Johnson brings us back to green flag racing from the Milwaukee Mile. Ryan Johnson leads in lap number 73 under green flag conditions over Sturgill, Balliet, Gilbert, and Schaefer, the top 5. And we will then now get back to our really tight battles back here. Even those have actually filed out a little bit. Now, what's going to probably be our shortest runs of the day, this is now Zimmerman and Lane Doyle going at it for 17th, our first side-by-side battle now after the restart.
You can already tell that the aggression level has picked up a notch now that the runs are going to be shorter, like you said. We're just over 55 laps from the end of this race, so it's going to be, the aggression level is going to pick up, and I think we're seeing that right now. Everybody's just running a little bit tighter. On that restart, some guys in the back were actually leaning on each other quite a bit, but they were able to keep it all pointed the right direction. Looks like that 48 truck might have gotten some damage on that restart. Just looking at it, the back bumper was pushed in quite a bit there, so could have been an accordion there on that restart and somebody got into the back of the 48.
Potentially, and I think that's going to happen, right? Everyone fighting for the same piece of real estate. Once you get off that front straightaway, it's everyone kind of, trying to dive it down into the one lane down in turns 1 and 2, and not everyone's going to get down there in one piece.
And it looks like Zimmerman has some damage as well. So my guess is those two are the ones that got into each other on that restart. But it can be tough. The further you are in the back, the harder it is to see when the leader goes. It's easy for everything to accordion up. Top 3, though, still the same suspects.
Nose to tail then. Sturgill senses maybe track position may be his claim to fame today. And he's going to have to try to muscle his way past the 38 here if he's going to be the one to sit on that top spot here. He's got that runoff of 4. Can he keep that truck planted under acceleration as Johnson still out in front?
Really tight racing throughout the field here. The whole field is all within about 6 seconds of each other, it looks like, which is the most tightly packed we've seen at any point so far.
The top 3 really still on top of one another. Now you see Dean Brummett, unfortunately, having some slight disconnects from the server, but that doesn't stop him from getting to the inside of 17. No, he'll file back in line behind Schaefer, and Kyle Vincent Gilbert now behind about 7/10 back to Balliet. Gilbert taps the wall off of 2.
He's still driving the wheels off that thing. I don't think he has taken a breath since this race started the way he's been using every inch of the track. But you know what? He's still in 4th place, so it's worked for him up until this point.
This might be the hardest work for a single result in a race, really ever. He is really wheeling and dealing that 58 machine, but the stage caution, that caution rinse, they fell well to keep Gilbert afloat here out in the top 5, up in 4th. Schaefer trying to find that spot or that way around the 58, but he's got to now fend off the 31 of Dean Brummett.
So now if these guys decide to split the last run in half, they'll be looking to come around with about 30 to go or lap number 100. That's kind of the halfway. That'd probably be the best idea, right? You're splitting up the run and putting only 30 laps on your remaining 2 sets of tires, which I think everybody has because I heard it was 4 sets. So guys do have a set of tires laying if they've only made 2 stops or 3 stops up until this point. But I think only 1 truck has made that many stops. So I think everybody has at least 2 more sets there laying in the pits. But in about 20 laps, we'll see that window open for that halfway strategy.
And if you're Sturgill or Balliet sat behind this 38 truck with Ryan Johnson, this run is going to be, shortest runs of the day. Are you more aggressive than you have been all day to find your way forward? Or are these still all prime believers of tire wears or tire life is going to take you to the promised land?
These top three have kind of separated themselves, kind of like we saw earlier, just missing the 31 truck this time, as far as that top group goes, because it looks like Brummett is stuck behind the 58 and the 17, just a little further back there. Maybe didn't have the best pit stop and lost a little bit of a position there, but everybody's still playing it pretty easy. We've seen a little bit of short track action, but 48 laps to go. That intensity meter is only going to get cranked up.
I feel here Sturgill maybe is struggling a little bit now to keep up with Ryan Johnson, and Balliet, I think it's feeling that as well. He is turning up the aggression, sat behind that 70 truck. So he's trying to get as wide of an entry as he can, drives it deep into the center. Can't get that way around the 70 truck just yet, is that 7.
And Ryan Johnson, just 5 laps ago, ran his fastest lap of the race. So he has turned it up, found that clean air, has figured out how to make that truck go fast. He's starting to open up that gap to second now. It's just a little bit over half a second. That's the biggest lead we've seen him have so far.
Yes, it is. Sturgill holding stage for the time being. And Schaefer really upping the ante on the tailgate of the 58. Gets behind, but like you said, catching's one thing, passing's another. Passing very difficult to accomplish here. As Kyle Gilbert
position there.
Yeah, and let's see, opens up the inside.
Yeah, he's able to get that truck turned down, and Kyle got that little bit better run on the high side, so he's able to keep that position. But it's only a matter of time before his tires are just not capable of doing that any longer. And then Reese will have the advantage. But he's not pinching him down. He's giving him plenty of space. But that momentum on the top side is just helping that 58 stay with the 17 for the time being.
Schaefer then to the inside of Kyle Vincent Gilbert. And Schaefer then clears the 58. Next up is Dean Brummett in this battle for the final spot in the top 5. Balliet, by the way, has cleared Michael Sturgill, and it'll be intriguing to see if Balliet's able to chase down Ryan Johnson any.
Yeah, those three have started to separate the most we've seen them so far. They had been packed up pretty much the entire time that last run, but now it's 4 through 6 that are packed up like the leaders were before. Brummett's working his way now around the 58.
Oh, Kyle Gilbert tried to get the crossover, and Brummett places that truck beautifully. Brummett clears himself into the top 5, and I think now we're going to see Schaefer and Brummett, now that they've kind of gone by the 58. Unfortunately, Gilbert's just doing too much counter steering to really do much with it. I think Schaefer and Brummett are going to leg their way from the 58 now.
Yeah, we have really tight battle from about 12th on back to 17th.
It is.
These guys have been shuffling and slicing and dicing. Zimmerman just made a really good pass a couple laps ago. And these guys, they're in the middle of the pack. They're not battling for the lead, but they want to position themselves and get in front of as many trucks as possible before they have to pit. And that way, they can gain maybe enough spots on pit road when they make that pit stop to give them a chance at the front. So some of these guys are slowly starting to work up. It looks like Purnell's up a couple spots. Westwood's up a couple spots. Cole Martin has picked up a couple spots since the restart. So a few of these guys have already picked up 2 or 3 spots and are headed in the right direction.
Gabriel Ellison up in the 8th position. This is, I think, one of the higher spots we've seen the 27 in tonight. He's up 6 from where he started. Nelson, he's steadily worked his way forward. Tyler Markle, he has dropped 4 spots from where he started. I was going to say this is about the lowest I've seen Markle run today. Never been, I guess, restarting 10th. McAvoy,
a
under
lot
attack.
of guys haven't had any big issues other than the two we saw spin, to change their track position a whole ton. So most people are somewhere in the ballpark of where they started this race for the most part. So like you said, yeah, this is the furthest back we've seen Markle so far. And you see him, he's kind of getting loose off each corner, it looks like, and that's hurting his run down these straightaways. And that's going to cost you plenty of time every time.
Up front, Brummett on Schaefer. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, these two, once they got by the 58, Brummett was just running a little bit quicker time and was able to catch up to the back bumper of Reese. We'll see how patient he is with him. Brummett's a pretty clean driver, but he also knows that sometimes you have to make positions yours. So with 38 laps to go, we'll see how aggressive he gets here. We got a yellow.
Caution on the speedway. Connor Cunningham has already taken Vettel back to the pit lane, and that front bumper is not attached.
No, there's that truck's hurt. That was a big hit because they don't carry a ton of speed here. So to get that kind of damage, he had to hit something quite hard. And it looks like Craig Schroeder was also involved there, so we'll see what happens here.
Cunningham, he was in a battle here to the inside of the 47 of Lane Doyle. Oh my goodness!
He caught the wall.
Oh my goodness.
That's yeah, that's tough. That's gonna hurt that truck because that's probably where you're carrying the most speed on this racetrack.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
that was violent, actually.
Very violent accident then for Connor Cunningham here in the sim. Of course, very thankful it is a sim because that sort of whiplash would be harmful. And it just sticks out the tiniest bit, but he clipped it.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I've done the same thing. And it kind of reminds me of like Five Flag Speedway. You know, that inside wall is kind of right there on the bottom, and you got to get really, really close to it. And every now and then you kind of just run out of room. But with the walls being white, no logo on it right there, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he just didn't judge it that well. But yeah, you see that little piece sticking out. Oh yeah, that's wow. Logan,
oh my goodness, Logan Truitt
avoided that flying truck. I don't know what he was thinking when he saw the bottom of that truck pointed at his windshield. But
and then Doc Holliday's approaching this one at high speed.
He's a four-wheel slide right there coming up to the 28. Is able to avoid him. Bobby as well is able to sneak by. Good job by Connor realizing that that truck was just in the air. You know, keep your foot on the brake. Don't roll back into the pack and then just instantly tow it back. Towed it back right before whoever that was coming up on him almost killed him. So luckily it seemed to be a single truck ordeal. That could have been much worse though.
Absolutely, and unfortunately Connor has made the early exit then from Milwaukee. We're going to take a brief moment and give a shout out to our commercial sponsor here at Speed Race Network. A quick message from Butt Kicker. We'll be right back. Welcome, race fans, back to virtual West Allis, Wisconsin. The field is rounding their way off of turn number 4, and it is Ryan Johnson out in front of the field as the iRacing.com safety vehicle. It's going to find its safety in the pit lane, and Ryan Johnson is going to lead us back to green here at Milwaukee. Very aggressive racing then in the middle of the pack as they fought tooth and nail to get down into turn 3, and they still are.
We got guys 3 wide. They were 4 wide for a second there around Austin Purnell and Brad Herman. Looks like they've now sorted that. Oh, big lockup. Big check. Everybody did a great job avoiding that from being catastrophic.
Yeah, Lane Hostler, great catch. Great avoidance from the rest of the field.
And here you have to be looking a couple trucks ahead. It's really easy for that accordion effect to happen. So good heads-up driving by everybody right there. Looks like he's back on track with that machine now.
And Al, you've made, you had the chance now to have already made your final pits of caution on the Speedway Doc Holiday.
Yep, he's around on the front stretch. Oh, no big damage, it looks like. It looks like that thing's going to be able to continue. A little bit of damage there on that right rear, it looks like.
See what brings us the fourth stoppage in action today. This
Towards
one,
the back here. You see him right there behind Logan, just on the outside of Jordan. That truck already looks sideways. Yeah.
comes up off the corner, down the track, clips the 39 of Jordan Sailors, and Doc Holliday's on a crash course for that inside wall, hits it flush to the right side. Sailors goes for a slide as well.
Pretty considerable there, and you know, NASCAR has those safer barriers. We talk about it all the time, right? It absorbs impact, helps drivers. But with this damage model, you saw he hit the wall right before that safer barrier started. So it'll actually do more damage to that truck rather than if he were to hit right where that safer barrier is.
I think
so that's
this
kind of unfortunate for him.
This scan in Milwaukee's from 2007. I don't believe there is safer barrier there.
Well, that's
that one's gonna hurt more.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I saw the wall stick out maybe just a little bit there, but it could be actually just the barrier that pit road has on the inside. Because you kind of see where it sticks out where that orange cone starts. But either way, that's a hard impact. The steering wheel on that thing is probably no longer pointed in the right direction. Unfortunate break for Doc Holliday. Really unfortunate break for Jordan there, who really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, looks like Jordan will escape relatively cleanly, though, and Doc Holliday not so much. Doc Holliday into the pit lane for some repairs. Craig Schroeder got some damage as well, probably on a restart incident, and Doc Holliday trying to park the truck there, down and away. Then is the 9 machine.
The 10 truck, it looked like, just got in the outside wall on one of those restarts when they were 4 wide. It's just really hard to judge because the track is already so narrow. Shouldn't be a ton of damage there, but he's going to take the time now under caution to go ahead and get it fixed. These guys should be good to go on fuel now, so they don't want to have to come back down pit road. So I think this is now Emerson where we see the gloves come off, and it's go time.
Yeah, this is it. I think your bet has been made. Whether you have one set of tires left in the pits or not, you're probably not going to use it at this point with just how well this field has competed tonight. JB, there are still 27 trucks on the lead lap. You pit here, you're going back. Really hard to overtake. Likelihood of getting into an accident is pretty high now. And we saw it took to a certain point in the race last night, JB, before we started seeing a lot of chaos and calamity, and everyone realizing it's very hard to overtake here. And at a track that's single groove, everyone's going to be fighting for that lane into turn 1, and not everyone's going to be able to fit.
Yeah, you said it exactly right. It's, new tires are great. You go a lot faster. But going a lot faster doesn't always equate to passing a bunch of trucks. And I think a few guys found that out last night. And we're just driving a little bit more than the truck can handle, and that's going to cause incidents. And cautions breed cautions, unfortunately. So it kind of took what was really a breezy start to the race last night and kind of a choppy, caution-filled ending. But that's just a product of short track racing. All these trucks are really close together. You can kind of lean on people without wrecking. And unfortunately, sometimes they lean just a little bit too much, and that's when we see issues. But this is the point in the race where, that leaning is going to get more and more. And some drivers, unfortunately, are going to find the breaking point.
Breaking point. There may be multiple connotations into the word break in that sentence, but
yeah, agreed. We'll see blocking too start to come into effect. We haven't really seen that a lot. Guys have been kind of giving guys the inside angle if they've had somewhat of a position, but I think those days have come and gone in this race. I think it's now time that you'll start seeing guys seal off that inside angle, getting into the corners, and that's only going to add to the level of excitement we're about to see.
And so as Ryan Johnson from Michael Sturgill, Joshua Balliet, Dean Brummett, Reese Schaefer, Gabriel Ellison, Kyle Vincent Gilbert Cole Martin, Brian McAvoy, and Tyler Marco as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane. The field in the hands of Ryan Johnson, racing once again from Milwaukee. Off of turn 4, it's Ryan Johnson, and then it is V Field. All trying to figure it out as they work their way down into turn number 1, and for the most part, oh, we got trucks around, car hard in the wall.
I think that's Logan Truitt just big nose into the wall. He's gonna get able to get off without caution, so we're still green.
No answer. Yep, no yellow.
Did not bring out a caution, but thankfully that was just him. Didn't collect more trucks because he was headed towards that wall in a hurry.
Big time impact then for Logan Truitt. And now Balliet under the attack from Michael Sturgill.
Ryan Johnson again opening up about a half-second lead. That's kind of what he's been able to do. He's been able to maintain. And this battle's on for second. Big battle. We're 3 wide on the backstretch behind him.
Yeah, that's Cole Martin, Lane Hostler, Brian McAvoy in fisticuffs here. Hostler 551. Sorry, McAvoy clear.
Truck around in the back, the 48 it looks like.
Kyle Westwood is in trouble, and that one will bring out the caution and the 5th stoppage in action of the day.
Like we said, this is the point where the give and take doesn't include as much give. It's a lot more take. I think that's a product of what happened here. Jordan Saylor's again involved. He's between those two teammates right there with the 24 and 48.
We're going to catch this one a little late, but we'll let it play out. Westwood and Sailors coming together. That's the second one Sailors has been involved in. Last one not of his own fault.
Oh, that looks
boy.
like it might be a little bit of, hey, you got me jacked up in the corner. I'm going to repay the favor, is what that looked like to me.
Yeah, this one. Oh, boy. Yeah, that wheel's turning right, man.
That's,
that one's tough.
That's what they call wrecking somebody in the book. I mean, luckily,
there
great
is no
avoidance.
better
I don't know who that is right there in that silver truck. And then the truck
that's
behind him.
Politis. And,
I mean,
Politis and Michael York. Both
that was
the Michaels.
very impressive wreck avoidance right there. Because, you know, and, you know, a guy spins you, you spin him back. It is what it is. But you hate for the other trucks that have nothing to do with the situation get involved. So luckily that didn't happen there because, you know, if you're Politis or York right there, you know, you had nothing to do with those two and what's happened a couple corners before. And the last thing you want to do is get wrapped up in it. So luckily they were able to avoid it. But the admins are going to have to kind of hash that one out, maybe talk to both drivers after the race. But there was the start of it, which is just a little bit of hard short track racing. And then kind of the Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson exchange where if you're going to run me like that, guess what? I'm going to do the same to you.
Yeah, trying to get the start of it there. It looks like Sailors is tucked up behind the 24 Ven. That is, Byron McDonald. And Westwood, well,
Just
trying to go somewhere.
Hot.
Yeah, a little too hot.
But lets him gather it back up and doesn't finish the job. Sailors was really good at finishing the job and what caused that. But, hey, nobody hit anything. We're all good. We're going to reset them. But the lineup for the field has changed quite a bit here. Some guys elected to come get those last set of tires, and some
Balliet did.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first one on freshies. Sturgill, Schaefer, Zimmerman.
So that's going to put Balliet waiting for it to cycle through. He's going to be all the way back in 19th. So that's so the top 18 are going to be on what I guess we're about to say 15 to 16 lap old tires. Probably about 9 green flag laps on that. Everybody else behind Balliet did come down and will have 4 sticker tires on the trucks.
It's a gamble here. I think Balliet's probably also gambling on a lot of restarts, right? Like we saw last night. He probably Before I saw, we didn't get too much green flag running at this point to the end last night. And if the trend follow the same way, that's plenty of opportunity to make overtakes. Ryan Johnson, he likes clean air. He likes track position. That's what he's elected, along with Brummett. Kyle Vincent Gilbert, that's somebody I am a little shocked that's also stayed out. Because those tires are probably in the worst condition of the drivers on his tire age.
He's going for it. If I was in this race and I was running in the top 10, I probably would have stayed out here. It's too hard to make passes. Yes, on fresh tires, you can kind of either run the top lane or use the apron like we saw some guys do and make up a bunch of spots. But you kind of need cautions to happen a lot for that to happen. But on the flip side, if cautions happen a lot, the top 5 or 6, you're not getting the pressure. There's a big quantity of trucks between you and the guys that pitted. So if I was in the top 10, probably would have stayed out for the track position. But if I was already in the back, like some of the guys that are behind the 7 truck, why not? You're already back there. Bolt up some fresh tires and see if you can get a few more spots.
Yeah, so very questionable gamble then from Balliet. The good news for him is he's locked in to the playoffs regardless of what happens tonight. And Ryan Johnson is trying to lock himself in as the iRacing.com safety vehicle eyes that pit entry line, that yellow pit entry line on the left-hand side. We'll find its safety in the pit lane behind that concrete wall. And Ryan Johnson gets away fast. Green flag back in the air. And so Johnson over Brummett and Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Now he's found a friend in Gabriel Ellison. They come together in turns 3 and 4. Ellison trying to make it around the outside, and sideways is Lane Hostler behind.
These guys are driving it very, very deep into the corner. Though the 7 truck and the 39 truck are getting together in the back of the pack. 7 had the inside, and that's just a difference of opinion, it looked like right there. They're now 3 wide on the backstretch. Here come the tires.
And Balliet trying to make the most of those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. This one is going to be hard to justify, but if he's able to do it, he'll be the one looking smart. Schaefer trying to make some hay on the outside as well. Now Bobby Anderson and Branson McCannon, the next up on Balliet's plate.
I will let everybody know that Connor Cunningham has been checked and released from the virtual iRacing Infield Care Center. He joined in our YouTube chat a couple minutes ago, saying at least he went out in style. So he's in good spirits after careening off the inside wall a little bit earlier.
Connor Cunningham, he has experienced the highs and the lows of the Glytch Truck Series in his 2 starts this season, from second last week to, well, the first truck out tonight.
Yep, 7 truck is on the move.
Oh, here we go.
What a save. Oh, the 13 truck was wrecked, and whoever that was, that black truck was inside Sturgill, they were both wrecked at one point. Don't know how they made it out, but that was just a product of the 7. Hey, fresh tires, I'm going to take it bottom of 3 because I know it will stick for me. And it's hard for everybody else. But he's making really quick work of most guys right now. He's up to about 12.
12 with 15 laps. If you can pick a guy off a lap, that's going to be right to the front of the field. But he does have to consider that, if you get to the front of the field and you don't have tire life to fight, then what gives?
Yeah, and he is the lead truck right now, Sturgill being the second truck, the one right behind him on the fresh tires. So, they're kind of that push to watch of the first ones that are on those new tires.
And they make easy work of Lane Doyle up next for Balliet's teammate Tyler Markle, who probably won't give him too much of a fight, as Doyle bounces it off the wall. Schaefer trying to sneak on through. Schaefer also on fresh tires. So those 3 in Balliet, Sturgill, and Schaefer making that charge.
On clean racetrack, the number 7 truck of Joshua Balliet's about half a second faster than everybody else in front of him, just based on those tire differences. So, and if he can keep clean track and not spend too much time passing some of these trucks, he might find himself in the right spot at the right time.
He might need a restart or 2 to kind of reset the order a little bit, reset the gap, but he is now there. He's approached the rear end of Tyler Merkel for that 10th position, and it's Herman. And the thing is, the higher you get up the running order, the higher these drivers are going to fight for position.
Yeah, it's going to be harder and harder to pass as he goes. But, I mean, with that much fresher tires, it's probably going to be as easy as it's ever going to be to pass some of these guys. But it's still going to be some hard work. And some of these guys, I've raced against these guys. I raced the trucks for about 3 seasons in SRN. They're hard to pass. They're not going to just let you have it regardless of your tire situation. So he's going to have to try to make as quick work as possible with these guys. He's underneath the 85 of Herman right now.
Here we go. Working now, the 85 of Brad Herman. If he can keep that nose down there, he should be able to rotate that corner well.
Yeah, he's going to get so much better drive off with those fresh rear tires, and that's going to be the end of that battle. Sturgill's coming right through with him.
Yeah, Schaefer getting a little hung up there behind Tyler Markle. Now Schaefer will make that pass. All this, of course, is going on behind Ryan Johnson, who has a 9/10 of a second advantage over Dean Brummett, Kyle Vincent, Gilbert Gabriel Ellison, and Lane Hostler.
Kyle Vincent Gilbert is still loose, but he's making it hold in that third place spot. So he probably doesn't want to see another caution and have to do another heat cycle on those tires. Austin Purnell's challenging the truck in front of him, 79 truck it looks like to be. So a couple good battles up here. But that 7 truck, there he is. He's getting bigger and bigger in their mirror.
Thing is, this looks like a solid line of trucks to try to get past, and you'll have to make easy work. And Mark Morton is in trouble to the inside of the turn 2, off of turn number 2.
Yep, he's maybe going to get... Oh, no. That's not going to bring out a caution yet. The field's coming, so he probably needs to be a little bit careful here. He's still trying to bring out a caution. Caution's out now. I think the admins decided that, oh, look out.
Oh, baby.
Cole Martin, that could have been bad. I don't know what the 8 was doing there.
That one...
I think the admins decided, hey, before the field gets there, we need to throw the yellow.
Yeah.
Because that could have been really bad, because you saw the 51 truck was coming, and that would have been pretty bad. So
yeah,
kudos to them for making that happen there.
That was probably the safest call, and probably for Ryan Johnson's safety in that 38 machine, that was probably necessary. That's a very intriguing tactic.
That's another one of those that's going to be a conversation after the race, I'd have to imagine. But, you know, who knows? The steering could have been broken in that truck. There's a lot of different circumstances it could have been. But the optics of that for the last few seconds were not ideal.
Well, let's try to see what happened with the incident itself before the antics afterwards. Like Zimmerman catches the left rear of the 8 machine. Just a lazy slide, right? But keeps that thing pointed in the right direction for the most part, and yeah, I have no comment for the rest.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw earlier, you know, when the 39 went around, kind of same situation where you just get, you know, a guy into the guy's rear bumper at the wrong time, and it upsets the truck, and you kind of shift and weight from side to side, and, you know, it's going to go around. Should have probably been able to gather that up and keep going. He's going to be a lap down now. The truck's not damaged. It was all butt gathered. Yeah, that was it looked like a handful. So he will rejoin the race a lap down, currently in the 26th position. That'll leave 25 trucks on the lead lap. And Balliet was able to get up to 8th place on that restart there, that little run. So we'll see what the leaders do if they want to stay out here. I think with so few laps left, I think you got to keep that track position.
But will anybody be crazy enough to try it in that top 10? Top 7, I guess, because 8th, 9th, and 10th, they don't have any tires left. It's Lane Doyle thinking. Nope, he stays out.
Oh, yep. Everybody's going to stay out, I think. Maybe some of the guys in the back where they might be able to gain 1 or 2 spots if they come down might. It looks like the 8 is actually the only taker. So he's going to be the only one that comes down. He's going to need new tires anyway after sliding those for that long there. So
yeah, it looked like he won the race back there.
Yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. But let's reset it here.
Yeah,
Johnson's the leader. Dean Brummett's run a really good race. Second, kind of been quiet all night, just working his way up there. Maybe didn't have the qualifying effort he wanted. Kyle Vincent Gilbert was our pole sitter. Has we've seen the door number on that truck more times than not coming straight at us down the straightaway, and he's still in third. Last week's winner's in fourth. So lots of good storylines up front.
Oh yeah, Johnson trying to lock his way into the playoffs with a victory tonight. He would do that. Dean Brummett, well, he's done that twice. KVG, probably a banner run for the 58 tonight. Allison, right, last week's winner, just trying to back it up. Hostler, pace, was very fast at Sonoma, trying to get himself another top 5 tonight. McAvoy in that 79 machine. He also, McAvoy I think was the only driver who could run within a 10th of Balliet at Sonoma. And so McAvoy had a lot of pace there as well, trying to get himself a great run. He sped at Sonoma though, that unfortunately ruined that run. Cole Martin and the 51 machine sat 7th. Balliet on the freshies in 8th. Sturgill 9th. Schaefer, the top 10.
Most of the guys that have been up front pretty much all day still finding themselves there. I mean, they've had completely different strategies, but the cream's always going to rise to the top as far as pace goes. This should be a fun 4-lap dash to the end. Hopefully, one attempt, but we'll see.
We shall see. And so, with 4 laps and 4 miles to settle it, VIRacing.com safety vehicle eyes that pit entry, which leads to the safety in the pit lane. Ryan Johnson holds control of the field, and racing commences once again from the Milwaukee Mile.
Oh, we got a truck around the 24, the middle of the pack. Oh, that was Doc Holliday that got into him. We got another wreck ahead of it. We got the Zimmerman, it looks like, around ahead of that. 2 incidents here, it looks like.
Yeah, Zimmerman and Byron McDonald, the ones in trouble there. And this one is going to bring overtime to the Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series.
It looked like they were all but 5 wide right there, getting into turn 1, which more times than not, it's not really going to work that well. Watch this 48 truck. Something happens to him on this restart, I think. Yeah, it doesn't get a good start, so he's going to be stuck in the middle here. That's 4 wide
there. And Jordan Sailors gives a boop to the 47, and they all were collected there. The 47 caught the 42 up into 48, gets Zimmerman.
That's just a whole gaggle of trucks trying to go for the same spot on the racetrack, it looks like. It was tough to see which accident happened first. I think it was the 24 going around that happened initially, but probably get a better view at it here.
We'll slow it down here, and Sailors, I don't know if he gets loose or he's just trying to cut from the top to the bottom, but as he's doing that, is contacted by Brad Herman and makes contact with Byron McDonald.
Yep, and knocks him into Michael York.
Yep.
You know, York had nowhere to go there. Just a lazy spin by the 24, and then I think Lane Doyle just got caught in the middle there between the 42 and the 48, and one of them didn't know one of them was there, and just kind of sends all these guys for a lazy spin. Nobody really hit anything hard except for, it looks like the 9.
Doc Holliday, man.
24 right there, and then the 8, just a 4-wheel slide. And he's pretty good at sliding that truck. Gets into the 24 there, and that'll be a lot of damage on that truck, I think. Good job by the 10 there at the back, just, you know, coming to a stop and not getting in that action there.
Absolutely. And so a junk 'em up here on what was the 6th restart, 7th start of the day. Now working our 7th caution period on the day. We are now into Surefire Speed Racing Network overtime. Here from the Milwaukee Mile, it's Johnson over Brummett. Ellison out to the 3rd position over Kyle Vincent Gilbert. McAvoy, Hostler, Balliet, Martin, Schaefer, Sturgill, the top 10.
Yeah, that last accident just looked like a classic 1-mile track, just cluster. We do have 3 attempts to finish this race, green-white checker style. This will be the first of 3 attempts. We'll see how many we need. At a track like this, we very well could get to all 3.
We certainly have the opportunity to do so. And now you look at drivers like Balliet, who was on those 14-lap fresher tires at this point, right? He's passed many trucks. He has now gone through a couple of restart heat cycles. Those tires aren't going to be too much better than the tires in front, but I am still anxious, I guess, to see what that 7 truck can do from the 7th position. He'll have the inside lane for the restart, which is going to be paying off huge. He was on the outside last restart.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the heat cycles, it's not what Balliet wanted. I think he wanted that to go green because he would have just kept coming. I think Ryan wanted these cautions to where he could kind of keep that. But with the 7 starting on the bottom, I said that apron in 1 and 2 is free real estate. I'd take a surefire bet that he's going to try and use that real estate here.
If he sees it, he might take it. So Ryan Johnson, the commander of this field, and what will be the 7th restart of the day, as the iRacing.com safety vehicle eyes that yellow line that leads to the pit entry behind a concrete wall for its safety, as Ryan Johnson holds the field at pace speed, and green flag once again, overtime from Milwaukee. A great run, Ven. The field clean off of turn number 2, and they roar to life down the back. Ryan Johnson trying to fend off Dean Brummett. Brummett trying to go for his 3rd win on the season, and Devin Zimmerman has crashed. In the back, no caution.
We're going green. The 31 is trying to give the 38 all he can handle here on the last lap.
1 lap to go from the Milwaukee Mile. 132 laps all come down to this.
Wreck in the back.
Oh, a big junk him up. More wrecking.
Wreck in the middle of the pack. The 51's going around.
A big junk him up behind, and it's Ryan Johnson who's gonna drive it off of turn number 4, and Ryan Johnson is gonna lock in the playoffs with a win at Milwaukee.
Wow.
Oh,
There's a back on the last lap. We might have to spend a minute going piece by piece, but Balliet ends up P5 on his tire strategy, but what a drive by Ryan Johnson. Getting that clean air up front, keeping with it, making his strategy be, I just want to be up front. And it ultimately paid off at the end. Dean gave him all the pressure he could ask for, and Johnson just didn't make a mistake, brought it home.
Ryan Johnson did a phenomenal job tonight, despite all the cautions and all the everything that he had to deal with. But the pilot driver in that 38 machine with reason to celebrate tonight. And is he going for a reverse victory lap?
I think he's doing the old Ryan Johnson reverse victory lap right there. Yeah, he's going to enjoy that one. That was a hard-fought one back in the winner's circle at Speed Racing Network. Obviously, he's won a lot of truck races in his time here, and he's back to doing Ryan Johnson things here in the truck series.
86 miles an hour in reverse, and he'll loop it around.
Look at that.
Oh,
Teaching
man.
the 8 truck how to do that little spin and keep going. But he's going to eventually get back to the front of the track here and keep burning it back down. Great job avoiding the wall. All these that's hard to do in reverse.
Alan, that might have been a faster lap there.
That was, I don't think we got a lap time on that one, but that was impressive.
That was a good one. And the tiny horse, number 38 Chevrolet Silverado from Pilot, with reason to celebrate, will burn it down on the front straightaway at Milwaukee, and it's Ryan Johnson, the driver Ven, in EPI victory lane. Last week, JB, he was nearly upside down with a late race mistake. He caught the apron with 6 laps to go, and he ended up on his side. Tonight, luck was on his side, and maybe a little bit of pace too, because Ryan Johnson was blazing tonight and was able to fend off a hungry field of drivers through all those restarts and craziness. Ryan Johnson, winner in the Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series, and locks into the playoffs. Ryan, how about it? How was that number 38 machine?
Woohoo! God, I couldn't believe how much long run speed we had. It clearly we worked on long run speed and not qualifying. We didn't do too well in qualifying, but even that first stage, we were just I didn't feel fast, and then it seemed like everyone just kept coming back to me. I'm like, all right, I'll take this, and we got up to like third, and I'm like, I don't know if I got anything for the top two, and the next run, yeah, man, we were just fast. The truck felt great. I think I found a a line I really liked and a brake bias and whatnot, and yeah, we were just fast.
Fast was the name of the game for you, Ryan. And from I don't know if you heard it there, but from last week and nearly upside down, I'm sure this one will feel a lot better. Uh, no, I know last week you had a lot of pace as well, but this one, getting yourself locked into the playoffs, how do you now feel about getting that monkey off your shoulder 5 weeks into the season?
Oh, it's really nice. I feel like we could have had a couple chances in our previous races, but yeah, there were 3 tracks I think on the schedule that I absolutely could not wait to race, and this was definitely one of them. Technically, home track for me and Brian, and yeah, I was looking forward to it. Locked into playoffs, that's awesome. Couldn't ask for a better way to get or better place to get the win at. So I'm happy with it. We're just gonna keep working at it though. It'd be cool to try and win the regular season championship, but I know it's gonna be difficult. Everybody, we got some really tough competition in here.
It seems like it, but you were the best of it tonight. Ryan Johnson, the winner from the Milwaukee Mile. Congratulations on the victory, Ryan. Best of luck to you next week at Darlington.
Thank you, buddy. I just want to give a shout out to Pilot, Gear Up, Mike, and all them guys, my team, and everybody tuning and watching, all the admins, you guys for broadcasting, and everybody for a great race tonight.
Yes, sir. And of course, that is your race winner, driver of the number 38, Ryan Johnson. And JB, I usually do this, give the second chair of a second place interview to kind of keep it in that order. And it so happens you'll be interviewing your driver tonight, Dean Brummett, second place finisher, standing by with you, JB.
All right, I'll take it. Well, I get to talk to my own guy here, Mr. Dean Brummett. Would have rather talked to you if you won this race. I'm just kidding. What did you need there at the end? I mean, it looks like you gave Ryan all he could handle, but I mean, Ryan just doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
No, man, it's just there was no right front grip in this truck all night long. Uh, everybody was fighting it. Some people managed it better, but this number 31 Quantum Fuel Systems truck, I mean, it drove as best as it could. It went through phases. It was tight, then it was loose, then it was tight, and uh, about after the first stage, I finally figured a little bit out with it. Was able to get a little more speed, but the not the green white checker restart, but the one before it broke my heart because uh, didn't so much miss a shift, but got a very good what I felt like start. And when I went to go to second gear, and I blipped the throttle, the truck just didn't want to shift and had to take an extra fraction of a second. And I'm not saying I would have passed Ryan, but I would have maybe had a chance to possibly be a little closer, maybe on his outside, and have had the lead when that caution came out that could have given me control car status. But tonight I was just kind of the fifth best truck in a 4-horse race.
Happens sometimes. Well, you were the top finishing JBR truck, so hats off to you on that. Always proud to see one of our trucks running up front. Always good when we get a chance to interview one of them as well. So you're now fourth in points. You know, you've won twice, so you're locked in. You know, you're just a few points back of Ryan on that regular season championship, which I know is still 12 races away, but we got to start talking about it now. What's your plan over the next few races coming up? Because you have some good tracks. You have Darlington, Charlotte, and Iowa, the next 3. What's your game plan? How do you like your chances at those places? How do you try to maximize points over the next few weeks?
I mean, I think if you can keep your nose clean and put yourself in good positions, then you have a chance. I mean, the trucks this season have been a little tighter than I like to drive them, and you kind of have to change your driving style. And for someone like myself, sometimes that takes a little bit through a race to figure out how to do that. Like you said, I've got Darlington coming up, probably my second favorite track, then Charlotte for my third favorite, and Iowa. It's a bit of a toss up, but When it comes to that regular season championship, like I said, I'm not too stressed right now. I would love to win it. I know I had to miss last week because I was on vacation. So, like I said, we'll see by the time the regular season ends, drop weeks come in, all that fun stuff. We'll see how everything lines up. But for the time being, like I said, 2 wins, not a very good run at Sonoma, and a second place finish. I'll take what I've got in the bank so far for sure.
Sounds like a plan. Well, before we let you go, we're going to roll out the red carpet for all your sponsors and supporters. Go ahead and list them off. Who do you have to thank tonight?
But I definitely want to thank Bolify and definitely Glytch Energy for sponsoring the entire series. Z Grills, Black Acid Racing Apparel. Obviously, like we said, Quantum Fuel Systems on the truck tonight, Toyota. JB, want to thank you for having me on the team this season. AAA Insurance, just a whole list of people to sponsor-wise to thank. But the most important people I have to thank for sure, number one, is God. Has blessed me with an absolute miracle lately, and the fact that my wife and I just found out that we are expecting, and my wife for going through all the all the fun of that. And I'm sure by the time that this interview's done, she'll have had to use the bathroom about 4 or 5 times. So, like I said, definitely just a lot of change in the Brummett household, and want to thank everybody who's reached out to me. And like I said, just a lot of sponsors to thank, but God first, wife second, sponsors third, buddy.
That's right. Well, we'll let you get back to celebrating. Congratulations on the addition to the Brummett family coming soon. It's never too early to start building that mini sim rig. So we'll let you get to that, and we'll go ahead and talk to the next guy. Hey, you have a good night, Dean.
Hey, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Congrats, Dean.
Thank you, buddy.
That was driver of the number 31, our second place finisher tonight. And we'll be bringing up last week's winner, driver of the number 27 machine, Gabriel Ellison. Now, Gabe, I know, you got it done last week. You're a couple spots shy of getting it done back-to-back weeks. Gabe, what more did you need there at the end with all those cautions?
I mean, honestly, I just needed a lot more pace. Finishing third there, I still can't believe it. I felt like at best I was top 10 on pace, like right at the edge of the top 10. But the first run, the first stage, I was super slow. I started 14th. I don't think I moved forward at all. But I kind of figured it out a little bit to put myself in like the edge of the top 10. I think I was in 7th, and a bunch of those leaders pit, like lap 90 or so. And unfortunately, that cost them. That put me in 4th, and then I managed to be ahead on a yellow and get 3rd, and then keep it because the inside was so much better. I really didn't have anything for the leaders the whole race, so I'm more than happy to take P3.
Well, there you go. It's average finish of 2nd now in the last 2 weeks. Next up is Darlington, man. How do you feel about your chances to keep this podium streak going?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident with Darlington than I am here. Hopefully that setup's nice and loose in the rear, because Darlington's a blast when you can slide that thing around quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, Gabriel Ellison, it is 2 podiums in a row first, and then a 3rd this week at the Milwaukee Mile. Next up is Darlington, man. Congratulations then on the podium. Best luck to you next week at Darlington.
Yep, thank you, guys.
And that was driver of the number 27, Gabriel Ellison. And with that, JB, that is those are our top 3 finishers tonight. I don't see anyone else trickling into the broadcast waiting room, so I think we have our post-race results then to kind of work through and show everyone where everyone ended up tonight. And we'll go through it. Here we go with the top spot then, of course, going to the 38 of Ryan Johnson. Dean Brummett comes across the line in 2nd. Gabriel Ellison finishes 3rd. Kyle Gilbert in 4th. Joshua Balliette in 5th on those fresh tires. Not able to get himself enough to overcome where he ended up pitting from. Lane Hosler in 6th. Reese Schaefer finishes 7th. Kyle Westwood 8th. Austin Purnell 9th. And Michael Sturgill, the newcomer, starts in that 10th position. JB, the next 10.
Aqua York comes home 11th, Brad Herman 12th, Gerald Poole 13th, Branson McCann 14th, Brian McEvoy 15th, Michael Politis in 16th, Albert Hewins in 17th, Lane Doyle 18th, and then from here on back it was kind of that last lap chaos that cost the rest of these guys. Byron McDonald 19th, Bobby Anderson 20th.
Wrapping on the rest of the results, and I think it's this one is Heartbreaker's Row from here Cole Martin 21st on the lead lap. Doc Holliday 22nd on the lead lap, and it's on from there. Tyler Markle, actually not sure how he ended up a lap down unless he got into that last lap accident, which we still have to go back and review, and we'll catch a couple replays of then. Mark Morton finishes in 24th, 1 lap off the pace. Same thing with Jordan Sailors in 25th. Devin Zimmerman goes around coming to the white flag. He'll be 2 laps down. It'll be Craig Schroeder, who had some issue early in the race, finds himself 8 laps off the pace. He'll finish 27th. Logan Truitt then 28th, 28 laps off the pace. Truitt in that big incident there. And Connor Cunningham fortunately catches the end of that pit while he goes for a wild ride. He'll be 29th, 41 laps off the pace. And now, as promised, I think, JB, we do owe the viewers at home a couple views of what happened on that final restart. Let's find our way back to that restart. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, the first incident was somewhere, I think it was Zimmerman in the 22, 33 is his number. I think he ran the 22 at one point. Back here in the back, and we kind of saw this all night. Big accordions back here, trucks all over the place. Let's see what happened here. Can't tell who that is right there behind him.
It's Lane Doyle on the 47.
Okay.
Oh,
Doc Holliday moves
my
down.
goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I might have to go check up on Zim here as well to make sure he has survived that one. That was exactly kind of what his teammate did. And then the other one was right around here with the 39.
Markle drives it in a little deep contacts and then gets hooked by the 39, and Bobby Anderson nowhere to go.
Yeah, and then Bobby comes back down the track, and it's
and then a jump him up back here.
Oh, Cole just got turned.
And Cole Martin and Brian McAvoy.
Look out. Well, close calls there. That was after all the incidents, so that was also completely separate. You know, how many times have we said it tonight? I said we'd say it at least 10. Every point matters. These guys are going for every single spot in the last lap. And it's just naturally going to catch up a few of them. And that's what happened there. But Zimmerman hardened that inside wall. And then, yeah, this one, 2 separate incidents, it looks like, on the backstretch. The first one with that 39. Kind of just caught in a bad spot in the middle. Here's Zimmerman's accident again here.
Yeah,
this
this
looks like
hard.
the 9 came down a little bit, and that just changes your braking point. And unfortunately, probably caught the worst part on the racetrack.
I checked them so much earlier than Zimmerman was expecting. And
it's the tires.
The tires.
Oh, yeah. Those tires don't give much.
And then I'd like to see the overhead here with this incident as well on the white.
Yeah, that 42 truck to the inside. It looks like he kind of washed up mid-corner. We'll get a better look at it here.
We'll slow down a little bit into 1.
This group right here was racing hard all night. They weren't given too much room. 39's holding his line.
Tyler comes up a little bit
there.
And then
once they get hooked together, that's it. I mean, these trucks don't like to get off of each other.
Well, he got off there.
Oh, yeah.
And
well, I think we've seen the 39 truck do a couple things like that tonight.
It's not the first one there.
That's a hard hit for that 42. Unfortunately, Bobby got caught up in that. And then this is the final piece of that.
McAvoy, not clear.
Yeah, not clear. So that's what happened. He didn't junk the 51. The 51 kind of just stuffed his nose in there. And 79 probably just didn't know he was there. Ooh, Sturgill. Barely misses that. Oh, Michael York. Oh. Brad Herman also does a great job behind it not to get in it. Wow.
Oh, man.
We're going to have a busy job as an admin team trying to produce the highlight reel for this week. Because there is some near misses that have been incredible, including this one right here. I mean, the car sliding back across the track, that's also a hard avoidance.
I think the one we're going to be talking about for a while is the 38 of Ryan Johnson, who got it done tonight and cruised his way to that victory in that number 38 Tiny Horse Chevrolet Chevrolet Silverado. Wow, I am finding a lot of consonants hard right now.
Well, we watched a lot of really wild incidents, so there's a lot to process here in the last few minutes.
With the pilot driver, he got it done tonight, locks himself into the playoffs, and with reason to celebrate tonight, Ryan Johnson drove a phenomenal race, had the pace, and got it done. We're not done yet. Of course, got to give a shout out to all of our partners here at Speed Racing Network. Of course, JB, we have our series partners, our Fiverr, Glytch, and Z Grills series partners. Glytch, of course, use code SRN10 on the Glytch website for 10% off of your Glytch order. Admin box has been on your screen all night tonight. Up in that top right corner, make sure you use code SRN-box. That's BOXX for 10% off of your admin box purchases. Of course, admin box, the starting grid sponsor as well, but up there in the top right all night long. Butt Kicker, of course, our commercial sponsor here at the Speed Racing Network. You heard a message from them here earlier in the show. EPI, of course, presenting Victory Lane this evening that Ryan Johnson had the pleasure of visiting tonight. And Select Blinds being, of course, our incident and replay partner for the evening. JB, any final thoughts here from Milwaukee before we close it out?
Well, we'll definitely come back here next year. The trucks ran great here. We saw a great race last night, great race tonight, a good mix of strategy, a good mix of pace, and a good mix of carnage. It's really all you could ask for. So, I mean, it's been a real treat. Enjoyed. Thanks for giving me the chance to come up here and broadcast with you tonight. I do it occasionally over the course of the season when I'm not busy doing the running Speed Racing Network tasks that seem to pile up on a mountain for me. But it's kind of nice to also just take a night off and come back here and kind of watch the racing product from this perspective because it's a unique one. We get to talk to some of the drivers. We get to watch the race from an outside perspective, which is valuable to us as admins as well as we continue to fight to make Speed Racing Network the best product it can be.
Well, it certainly produced a great product tonight. These Glytch Truck Series drivers left it all on the track, and Milwaukee Mile claimed a lot tonight, but it claimed Ryan Johnson as its winner tonight as well. I think that'll do it then from us here at the virtual Milwaukee Mile. We thank you all for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all at the Speed Racing Network, I had Jonathan Byer alongside myself, Emerson Arden, tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow night when the Z Grills Xfinity Series heads to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, or next Wednesday night when the Glytch Truck Series heads to Darlington, the track dubbed as Too Tough to Tame, the Lady in Black. All of that for round number 6.